Wow. When I die, but that's a morbid start for the presentation. I didn't know that song actually, Lindsay, you need to enlighten me later. I'm so happy to be in Finland. I'm a Finn, and a very proud Finn. But I'm obviously here in another role, so I work for TripAdvisor. You may have heard of TripAdvisor. I have been there 5.5 years, so my job was to start up a destinations team. So I've got a great team of 5, and we cover Europe, Middle East and Africa, and we work solely with destinations. So whether it's a regional, city or national tourism board. So, a little bit about TripAdvisor, and I know everyone hates questions. I personally hate when people go like, how many of you have done this? But I have to ask a question. How many of you have actually read a review on TripAdvisor? Almost everyone. There's 3 who haven't. No fingers pointing. How many of you have actually written a review on TripAdvisor? And the final question, how many of you have claimed an ownership of your product on TripAdvisor or your destination? Okay, I've got something to tell. Right, okay, so very briefly, TripAdvisor is all about inspiration, choosing your destination, planning. When we say booking, we're not transactional, so we will throw the traffic away to whether it's an airline, OTA, or a hotel partner to make a booking. On the trip, we've got great city guide for Helsinki. If anyone's stopping in lovely Helsinki, you can download a city guide, and it's free of roaming. We have loads of those around the globe. Sharing images, sharing opinions, writing forum posts, writing reviews, and then that was pretty much it. Right, couple of numbers. We love our statistics. So we've got 260 million unique monthly visitors. The big number that really matters here is that we get 80 contributions a minute, which means when I get to the big point, which is how you can work with us, it really matters that you communicate with your guests and you get them to write reviews on and comments on TripAdvisor, because that audience is hungry there. And only thing you can do on TripAdvisor really that makes sense is research travel. At the moment we have 150 million reviews and opinions live on the site, 17 million photos, sorry these are new numbers just come in, that's why I'm reading them, and 69 downloads on our apps, so various apps, not just TripAdvisor but also the city apps. We made a research together with Comscore that covered 6 or 7 key markets, and the staggering number came out that 1 in every 16 people online visited TripAdvisor last August. It's pretty awesome. It's changed a lot in 5.5 years, so it keeps on growing, which is fantastic. 42% of total buyers, and this is online travel buyers, were on TripAdvisor. So if your product and destination is incorrect there, if you're not managing your profile there, which is by the way completely free, you really need to do that, because that's where a lot of the worldwide audiences, the worldwide consumers are researching their travel. Quick overview where we are still growing. US has sort of stalled, but everywhere else we are growing. We just launched Austrian domain, I think, yesterday. Finland is coming up soon. I can't give dates because it's not official yet, but we will have a site in Finnish as well, which will obviously help a lot the industry. We had a great meeting with Visit Finland and their agency on Monday talking about the back-end translation. So when we have the site in Finnish, it will help all the smaller suppliers also to go and update their information. There's our domains at the moment. South Africa was launched recently. William was happy. So who do consumers trust? So they trust people they know, and they trust an online consumer opinion. As you may know, in TripAdvisor you get a bit of both. So when I come to Rovaniemi, I can see 27 of my friends have been to Rovaniemi. And thanks for Pyry and Inkeri from Lapland for putting so much content there. So most of my friends clearly have just checked in and been here but haven't written as much content. You can also, when you look at hotels, so this is an example from South Africa. So when I go to Cape Town, I can read reviews from my friends first. I can filter reviews in many ways and look at couple-friendly, family-friendly, friends, and so on. So it's quite nice. You can actually see where your friends have stayed. And I had this conversation with Charles earlier. You don't necessarily want to stay where your friends stay because they may have a completely different travel habits than you have. But at least you can see what they've thought about the places. This is an initiative that's about a year and a half old in the US. And we launched this in Europe on the 17th of March, so just a few weeks back. So we have been asked, I've been sitting with guys in UNESCO and other places to talk about how could we make some kind of marketing sustainability. And we started our Green Leaders program. So we teamed up with the Green Council, the Green Building Council, Carbon Trust, and a very big partner for us is UNEP. And having UNEP behind this is helping us a lot. So this program is absolutely fantastic. It's now available across Europe, also in Finland. So how does it work? There's an online survey, and this is open for everyone. So you just go to tripadvisor.com or .co.uk/green leaders. It's completely transparent and it's completely free. So it takes about an hour to fill in the questionnaire. There's 7 minimum criteria, and you have different levels. We also use SGS, who have, I think 70,000, don't tweet this, I think 70,000 independent consultants, auditors across the globe, and they do visits to the properties who have actually claimed to be green leaders. We also trust the consumers as usual. So if we find out that the hotel has told us they have all these amazing green facilities, and we find out that they don't, they will actually get a badge saying this property is not green and they're lying about being green. So how does it look like? And this great example has been very, very small. This small B&B in Bayfield. You can see it's a new program. And they've actually earned the green leaf. And they earned a platinum level green leaf. And it's great, so you can actually see the top line information, and then you can click through and you can see all the green practices. And I was hoping to show you something that's very exciting for the DMOs on this. So if you have a specific number of properties that earned a green leaf on TripAdvisor, we will help you to have a badge on your site and a press release. So you can start talking about how your properties are working, and your hotels, B&Bs, and all properties are working with the Green Leaders program. That badge isn't there yet, and I just checked my emails, I haven't got a response yet, but that's a new thing coming up. So, now it's all about the destination. So I know majority of people here are from a DMO, from a destination. We launched our Traveller's Choice Awards yesterday, and you can see them online. So Istanbul won the world's best destination. And this is based on the consumers. So what the consumers are writing about them, how they're reviewing them, the images, how much the images are liked, and the various content on our site. So, sorry Helsinki, you weren't up there, but I wrote a review in Helsinki. So you can see all the 25 world destinations, then we do per country destinations as well. But there's Helsinki, because I'm a Finn, I have to promote Finland. So we also do destinations on the rise. And this is really cool, we do this every November, and this is really talking about the destinations that have seen the biggest growth. On searches, on reviews, on images, what are the consumers interested in and where they're traveling. So Helsinki was number 5. Chad, was it Havana? Cuba?
For the world, yeah.
For the world, yes, they were number 1. So Helsinki was number 5 in Europe. So Focusrite ran a research. They wanted to look at social media and how does social media drive traffic to the destinations. And this was really interesting. They were only wanted to look at Pinterest, Twitter and Facebook because that is the social media. We're not really in that category. But they came into the conclusion that they had to add TripAdvisor because the numbers were really staggering. So social media is extremely important. But traffic that comes out of TripAdvisor and goes into the destination websites spends a lot of time researching that destination because they actually want to travel. When in social media, you get excited. I mean, I love people posting photos when of their trips. I just came back from an amazing holiday and posted 30 photos, just best of the best, and obviously hopefully all my friends were like they want to travel there too, but they may not be traveling at that point. Whereas when you put your content on TripAdvisor, you know the people who are seeing it are actually planning to travel, because that is the only reason to be on the site. So the key components that we work with are destinations. I'm going to use South Africa, not only because William made such a long journey here, but South African tourism came to us about 5 years ago. I think 5 years ago, William and me sat down and William said, we have KPIs for, I think it was CRM, we have KPIs for bookings, we have KPIs for likes. So there's a lot of KPIs that they had, and we couldn't fulfill any of those. So we didn't really fall into any category that was in their marketing plans. But he says, I want to work with you because, you know, but then we weren't quite the largest, but we were getting there. So he said, why don't we build something? You tell me what my KPI should be. You tell me what I should be doing on your site that makes a difference. So we planned a program that included working with the stakeholders. So we go a couple of times a year to lovely South Africa, and we do educational sessions for the industry. So whether there's a safari owner or Soweto walking tour guide, day tour guide, they can all come into this session, and it's completely, it is advice how they can manage their content and their profile on TripAdvisor for free. Sorry, William, These won't be then shareable, but here's a number what happened after these sessions and after working together with South African tourism and also having them spread the message in their newsletters to their industry. People really got active, and so did the travellers, because the whole industry was talking to the travellers and getting more content, which then increased the time that people spend when they research South Africa and the number of page views that are being created. You can encourage content different ways. Zurich is a great example. So they're sending an email to everyone who visits Zurich. So I think they use the tourist information center together and all the different suppliers to gather email addresses. With this, they can just send automated email to everyone who's in their database, who's visited, and encourage more reviews. So it doesn't always have to be the property or the attraction. It can be the destination as well. You can use different kind of widgets on your site. So Rome is using our, there's someone from Italy here, but I think it says map and accommodations, restaurants, and vedere, things to do, presume. So when the content is on TripAdvisor, it gets seen potentially by 260 million people a month. But if you look at this, look at it, 500 million people outside of TripAdvisor are viewing that content. So I chatted to the lovely lady from Articum this morning, and she said to me, or this afternoon even, she said to me that their slogan that they're using in their marketing is that someone said this is the best place in the world to see the Northern Lights. And this was a review on TripAdvisor. So when you find something that a consumer has said that's really cool, go and use that, tweet that, put that in your social media and say, this is an actual person who said that, who's been there, totally unprompted, which is very, very valuable. But this is a staggering figure. So we have a department that only works for partnerships to get the content out there on the other sites. So how do, and I felt bad for Côte d'Azur earlier because they didn't win, so I used them as an example. So if you wanted to update your content, if you haven't done yet, so please do. All you do is you type in, I didn't type in French Riviera, but that's what came up, so I typed in Côte d'Azur, and then I come to this page. On the right-hand side, you can see add photos, post videos, share your information with travellers. Is it wrong location? Is the mapping correct? Because we're not perfect, we try to be. So there's a lot of ways you can do this, but you can do unlimited photo and video upload. And it's so important that you tag those photos that you are the official tourism board, because it's a great addition on the site. We have so much user-generated content, but to mix that in there. You can actually put a description of your destination. There are all kinds of descriptions. Valencia got very upset with us because all we talked about was the oranges. And they said, we don't really care. So we changed it. So you can actually go and see what is the description. Also the products. If you're a property, you don't have to pay anything. You can change your description in there. You can make sure if you've done a renovation in the past 3 years, you can add it in there. And it really doesn't cost anything. Go to the forums, which I'm going to talk a little bit about later. Respond to reviews. Cornell University, the study, found out that if you get one bubble higher, they are called bubbles, I know. One bubble higher on TripAdvisor, you can actually charge 11% higher rate, because people have the trust on your product. They're willing to pay for it. And our travel articles work like Wikipedia, so it's our travel wiki. And so it has to be unique content, otherwise it comes down, and everyone can go and edit and add that content. Yes, it's a little bit of an effort to do this, but I think you can actually get all of this done, and we won't send you a bill, I promise. I had a look at last night so obviously I prepared my presentation ages ago. I had a look at our forums last night and looked at what people are talking about from Rovaniemi. And it's really cool because the conversation is still really active. I've heard the husky farms are closed because it's low season, but still people are talking. If you look at this is 3rd, 4th, 5th March and then yesterday. So more than 90% of the topics posted on the forums are replied within 24 hours. And who replies to these? You can if you want to as a tourism board. However, it's normally the travellers. And there is Zam72 who has written 3,268 posts. There's a lady who has written, I think it's over 20,000 posts, Chat will remember this, of Greece. She's a, what does she do? She's some creative, I don't know what her profession is, I don't know how she has time to do anything else than write posts. But the tourism board has actually acknowledged her and gone like, oh my God, you're actually responding to all questions about our country. You're doing bigger job probably that the tourist information centres can do, because those questions, those people won't actually walk into the tourist information centre. And if you hear from any kind of tourism product, type in your tourism product name on TripAdvisor forums and have a look what people are saying. Not just the reviews, but what are the questions? What are the big issues? How to get from Helsinki to Rovaniemi? Sleeping compartment night trains. I mean, VR.fi would answer these questions, but it's easier to write it there and let the community respond. We also offer, there were the 4 pillars that I started with, so we also offer a lot of data and insight. We can tell you how many properties in your destination have registered as owners. I can't tell you which destination this is, sorry. And how many of them have been reviewed in the past 30 days. How many have gotten reviews higher than 3.5. And at least 1 management response. And you can see the management response is actually quite low. And that's why the educational events that we offer and organize are really important, because we really come and talk to the industry and say why respond, how to respond, how not to respond, different examples, really sort of hold their hand and work together. We also publish a trip barometer. I think it's twice a year now, so a new one is coming up soon, so this is per market. Really, really, really cool information. So this is all available for you. This is all on TripAdvisor, and I'll introduce Chad and Tim a bit later on as well, so you've got 3 of us in here. Give us your card, not only to win, but also to get more information. This is very confidential, but I couldn't help myself. This is one part of the Williams idea that how we could work even closer together. We have mass uploaded all their properties onto TripAdvisor, and we also started using the TTGSA, which is Tourism Trading Council South Africa, their star ratings on TripAdvisor. So we took all the Expedia and Giata ratings down and actually used the official star ratings on TripAdvisor instead. And we started analysing this. Don't take photo, William. William, battery this.
Flip back for a sec.
Anyway, so I can show this. But this is the kind of information we do offer in the longer term partnerships, and we really want to work with you together. So we split this into different regions. We started looking at what are the sub-bubble categories where there's potential issues. So, Kruger National Park is the sleep quality. Is it because the animals are loud? Is it because you're sleeping in a safari lodge? Whatever the reason is, we can then start looking at this even deeper. There's so much cool stuff, and we just actually launched a brand new product which is cross-list ASIN data, and it came out today. So we will be able to say that, okay, looking at Catalonia from German IPs, what are the next 10 destinations they're looking at? What about UK? Same thing, we can look at Dublin and we can go like, okay, these guys are researching Dublin, but where are they looking at next? So we can really start following the consumer path. And this means when we build our commercial campaigns with a lot of our partners, and there's a lot of them already in the room, thank you, we can actually ensure that we know where the consumers are looking at next, and we're hitting them at the time when they've already looked at your destination, then they go and look at one of your competitors. And I don't normally talk about commercial opportunities, but I have been given the blessing and the request actually from Rodney, so hit Rodney, not me. We offer a lot of different commercial opportunities for destinations, and Norway has really taken this on board. They have bought a so-called DMO sponsorship, which enables destinations, and Swedish Lapland, by the way, as well. I know you guys are here somewhere, so thank you. You can own your page, so anyone who types your destination name on TripAdvisor will land on this page for your destination. So you can own all your social media channels in there, so all of the traffic will drive away from TripAdvisor. We don't want to keep them there when they're ready to leave. You drive them to your Twitter, you can do brochure downloads, you can do web links, you can do Facebook, you can choose the images, you can use different links like Kulturhutten is promoted in there as well. You own the banners, so no one else can do competitive banner advertising on that page. So this is a great opportunity. This is first ever, so this is something that's really cool. This is our homepage hero image, and you may guess which city this is. So South Africa again came to us and said, we want to do something really cool, something that hasn't been done before. We had a long conversation with our brand team. Actually, it was quite quick in the end because the decision had to be made quickly. And they did own this hero image. And this is available only for destinations. A lot of the products we've been building in our product catalog on TripAdvisor are solely aimed at destinations, which really means that I'm glad that's why me and my team have a job, because we actually we are able to talk to you, and we have had a lot of different conversations across Tourism Australia, Tourism South Africa, Visit Finland, a lot of different people, to make sure that if there's something we're missing on the site, we know we have the right audience for you, but is there something we can build that would be more relevant for your destination? Come and talk to us. I mean, there's 3 of us here, and email us anytime, because we'd love to hear from you. Those conversations are so valuable for us. So this was live 1 week at, last week, 9 domains? 12 domains, sorry. No, you're now on holiday, so what do I know? 12 domains, and this is fantastic. So it links back to Cape Town page, and there's a review in every language just chosen by our brand team. So you can have a better position on our homepage than this. So thank you, South Africa, that was very cool. This is another, and this is all about South Africa now, but I wanted to choose one case study. So we've also, this is what we've been running for the past year. This is a very, very interactive custom hub, as we call them. So you can choose a different kind of holiday you wanna make, and then those little hearts will start showing up. You can choose to watch videos, look at images. It's very, very interactive, and if you talk to William later, he'll tell you that something even cooler is coming up in a couple of months' time. So we're constantly evolving this, but what I want to highlight is this is a really important part of the campaign, but they're really embracing the fact that we work with their industry. And there we go. It's all about William. This is a great quote. Sadly, it was written at midnight, so we had to slightly correct your spelling, but there you go. This is a great quote that we got from William a couple of years ago, because that's how he felt. He felt that we really are the largest destination marketing organization, because we enable the destinations to get so much visibility on TripAdvisor, and most of it is completely free. So, sadly Tim was feeling slightly unwell, so he's not here, but he'll be here tonight. So Tim is the bottom one, and Chad is there behind you, waving. So Chad Scheider and Tim Schofield. So Chad and Tim are my team. Tim looks after the Nordics, so anyone from the Nordics, or talk to me. Obviously you can also talk to me suomeksi erittäin mielellään. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you, Helena. And
Can I pass the water?
You want a glass of water? No problem. It's the first time I'm actually in this booth.
I thought you better. So any questions at all? Sorry, I know that's Charles' job to do, but he's giving me water.
Just to prove that I don't really wish you did.
Yeah, that's kind. That's nice. Nice to know.
Any questions for TripAdvisor? Yes.
How many of those
Hello?
How many of those pages or destination sponsorship pages lay unclaimed?
Too many. We work with about 720 destinations across the globe. And if you think how many countries there are and how many regions and cities, so a lot. A lot. And it's, I don't know why.
And just kind of a follow-on question, of those destinations that are sponsoring a page, how many of those are self-sustaining through co-op advertising and that kind of thing?
Most of them use co-op advertising, and we really encourage it. For example, Swedish Lapland is doing everything together with SAS, because they really want to promote the flights in there. So a lot of it, Helsinki owned the page for a very long time, and they used the cruise lines, they had a hotel partner, so they changed month on month, different partners on the banners and on the offers. So that's a great way of getting, if you get co-funded marketing funds from your industry, you can definitely use that. The problem we sadly had with some of the destinations that they bought this, but this really is something you need to keep up to date. So if there's a photo of snowy Helsinki in June, we will try to get in touch with you, but we have, I can't remember how many, over 1,000 I think we have live, so we can't double check everything. So it's a self-service center, you can change your stuff every 24 hours, or every hour if you want to, really. But yeah, sadly not everyone does that.
And maybe this is actually a very nice and good opportunity to ask a little bit of input, because my question to you was what's your main challenge in getting DMOs involved, but you kind of answered you don't know. So maybe some people from the audience, DMOs who have not claimed their space on TripAdvisor. Tessa, if I may put you on the spot, have you claimed?
Not yet, no.
Not yet.
No.
Could you explain what the reason is why you haven't claimed it yet?
Well, it sounds a bit of a cliche, but the strategy I'm following, or that I've made for Visit Holland, is not based on third-party platforms like TripAdvisor, but more on Facebook and Twitter at the moment, because we see that there is more for us to get than there is on TripAdvisor at this moment. And next to that, it's a budget thing as well, and not only in money, because you just explained that there isn't always money to be involved when you use TripAdvisor, but also hours. So it's kind of a lame excuse. Thank you, Cheryl.
Well, you could ask him why Amsterdam hasn't claimed their page.
Yes? Oh, thank you.
Just darling.
Well, Well, Amsterdam is now an active party in this conference.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
No, you're definitely right. We're just as lame as Visit Holland.
You're in the same country.
We're in the same country. So maybe some other destinations. Yes, Chris.
I have a question, you may not be able to answer it. But I firmly, TripAdvisor is a very valuable tool, but I think where most of the value for a tourism destination is certainly in making sure that tourism businesses in their constituency are online, so they're there, and that they're actually responding to the queries, and not as a tourism organisation claiming your place there. Can you give us any indication into what type of audience some of those pages may be getting, whether it's putting it into perspective destination pages versus review page views, or just what is a good destination getting in terms of page impressions?
When you look at it, we quite sort of, some of our survey data is obviously commercially sensitive, so although I have those figures, I can't share all of them. We're very open to say that actually the hotel servlet, where everyone thinks most of our traffic goes to, only about 40% look at our hotel servlet, because they're quite towards the end of their planning process. So for example, in South Africa, we decided to eliminate the hotel channel, because we felt that when people were reading hotel reviews, they probably were quite far on the decision-making process. It doesn't necessarily apply to every country in the world, but that's one of the options. So the destination page used to be really hideous, and we redesigned it a couple of years ago. So we get a lot of sideways traffic from Google, so there's more sideways traffic than there's organic traffic. And all the events that are listed in there are also Google SEO'd, so a lot of the traffic is jumping sideways in there. So it completely varies. I mean, there are destinations where people are very, Photo channel gets massive views. Our video channel is rubbish, so hopefully we're changing that very soon. I'm very honest about it. There are great videos in there, but we're behind on that. But if you look at destinations, the destination page itself and videos, images, and things to do, and forums are the biggest servlets where the traffic is happening. And obviously we can measure it exactly where it comes from. So we can look at different cities in the US researching, different countries in Europe, and so on. We're actually giving our data to a European Commission destination research very soon, which is very, very deep research. So I hope that's going to be open for everyone to read afterwards. Did that help?
Yeah.
Cool.
Any other questions?
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, there is.
I can just, I don't know.
You can just shout.
Jack.
I'm always interested in how TripAdvisor affects people's perceptions, so they read the review before they go. Have you found that if they read a positive review and go, that there's a cascading effect, or the other way around, that if they book somewhere and it has a negative review, do they end up rating it lower? And how important really is somebody else's perception in the way that they perceive their experience?
It's really important. Actually, the community is really protective, and that's what especially when we were smaller, there were a lot of people who, if a specific product got a very negative review, and someone had visited that product or was going to visit that product and had a great experience, they would very often refer, saying, although that person 4 reviews down the line is saying this, that is not true, that wasn't my experience. And they normally, when you have a good experience, they want to help people out who potentially are seeing a more negative review. So, but I think it's, on average, people read about dozens, between 12 and 20 reviews. They normally look at, I guess, the mid ones, and then the worst ones, and top ones. So you have a mixture of everything, and it really is an educated decision. So consumers are much more savvy than we potentially think. So some hotels come to us and say, it's the end of the world, I had a bad review. But I was actually, I had a French hotelier with me at one of the European Commission events, and she was talking about how she set her business up purely using TripAdvisor, never spend a penny. She said her problem is that she only has good reviews. And a lot of people, when they call and book, they said, look, but this is not possible. There's no way that everyone loves your hotel. People are so different. So she's actually fighting against the fact that she only gets 5-star reviews. And said that's her biggest dilemma at the moment, that she feels like people don't take it seriously if it's all positive. So I think that it is very important, but people are also very selective how they use the information. Cool. Everyone's starting for coffee, I think.
Well, we have a few minutes more.
Oh, do we now?
Yeah, we do.
Go on then.
Maybe a very practical question. And I'm Dutch, so we kind of like to talk about money for some reason?
I'm assuming we don't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But still, on the practical side, if Tessa and myself decide to be a little bit less lame and go back and say, well, we've seen this very nice thing, DMO sponsorship,
Yeah.
could you enlighten us on budget-wise what we can think about?
It's all based on traffic. So
It's all based-
everything that we sell on TripAdvisor is based on traffic. So basically it's Rovaniemi versus London. It's a very, very different concept when you start promoting on TripAdvisor. However, what we also look at, like I said, we could then look at, okay, the email sponsorship is always based on the actual point of sale. So that's a set fee. We look at the forecasted traffic for a year and you basically pay against that traffic. But anything else targeted that you do, like we did a great campaign with Catalonia just recently, was really, really targeted. And their message was family. So we did segmentation targeting. We didn't actually target the whole of German IPs. We looked at the family targeting because that was the most important. So you can basically, any budget will get you in a quite nice position on TripAdvisor because everything gets customized and tailored. Very diplomatic.
Very diplomatic. Maybe one last question before we actually go.
I got a South African citizenship. Amazing. I need to get into Twitter. I'm not actually on Twitter. Jack, can you take photos of that? That's a promise.
Maybe one last question, because this morning I mentioned that this conference is a lot about sharing and learning, and you've done a lot of sharing, so thank you for that. But it's also about experimentation. And we chatted briefly about a lot of experiments that TripAdvisor does that don't always see the light of day, that do not get implemented. Can you sort of shed light on a few initiatives that you're working on with TripAdvisor or has worked on that has not made the cut and we've not seen?
I think one of the most horrible examples in my eyes is we built an inspiration center at one point because everyone talks about you need to have inspiration center on TripAdvisor. Wow. Okay, that didn't last long. So really, it's whether we did that wrong or whatever, but we normally, when we build a product, and I always recommend this to a lot of people, don't spend years building something. Do like us, we just throw it in there. It's not ready, it's not 100%, but we really want to see, we do slice testing because the size, the size of our site, you need to do slice testing. So at the moment, we slice testing actually just for you, which is great because I used it recently when I was going, and I can't say South Africa, but I was actually going to South Africa, and I wanted to stay in a different hotel. So I basically put my criteria in there. I said I want an upscale, but I want a boutique independent hotel. I want a Wi-Fi. I want a gym. All these different, and I know Booking.com does that already. But you can also base it then on your friends' reviews, based on couples' reviews, and you can get much deeper in there. So I don't know where we get going with that. That's on a slice test, so not everyone can see it. Trending is another test that we're doing at the moment. So while we've been speaking, I think there's probably about 100 pieces of content that come for Helsinki. So you can look at the trending part. But not all of you will be able to see it because it's another test that we're doing. So we're constantly testing new products and we're definitely claiming failure on some. I mean, our first mobile app was horrible. And, we learned our lesson when I made it prettier. And now it's, one of the top travel, I think it is the top travel app. Cities I visited was a great thing. You pin your things on Facebook. It was just a bit of fun. And now we based our whole instant personalization based on our Facebook thing. We didn't know what we were going to do with it. We just thought it was fun. Let's do it. And then later on figure out if it works, then let's monetize it, let's make it great.
Thank you, that's good to hear. Any last remarks, last questions? Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I should do the same.
Shall we do any songs that people?
Lindsay, you need to tell me who that was. Lindsay's not here. Sorry, yeah. I still don't know what that song was. Yeah, we won't sing. We'll sing tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Helena. Thank you.